Why corporatism is the best bet for India. In this video, I will provide my reasoning as to why I believe India needs corporatism to prosper in the future and how corporatism provides the solution for India's caste problems. India is one of the most diverse countries on earth with a massive collage of different ethnic, religious, and caste divisions, with the caste divisions being one of the most famous and infamous aspects of India when dealing with this country. The caste system of division between different classes and career fields based around economic position and often ethnic backgrounds. There are four main castes or varna in India. The first and highest being the Brahmins, consisting of Hindu priests. The second and most important are the Kshatriyas, who are associated with the traditional warrior aristocracy and are made up of the rulers, administrators, and, as mentioned previously, warriors, with them making up the majority of the Indian army and military in general. Then there are the Vaishyas, who are made up of artisans, merchants, tradesmen, and farmers. Fourthly, we have the Shudra, the laboring classes. They are often seen as the lowest of the classes. However, we must also consider the Dalits, or as they're most commonly known as, the untouchables, being considered the lowest of the castes and are viewed as being outside the caste system, which is reflected by their roles as working in what are deemed unclean professions, such as working with leather, disposing of dead animals and corpses, and in sewage treatment. This system of deeply entrenched social divisions has been rightfully criticized for being a cruel apartheid-like system of segregation based on which family someone was born into, and not on their merits and skills. This thus destroys creativity, social mobility, and human dignity necessary for a prosperous society. This has led many people to call for the complete abolition of the system. However, this has been met with backlash from conservatives and those from the higher castes in India who want to preserve this system for either their own power and benefit, or for the fact that they're traditionalists and don't see a point in taking and getting rid of this 1,000-year-old system. The argument being that it would also be difficult to eliminate a system which has existed for thousands of years, in addition to the fact that these kinds of social engineering programs take a long time to successfully implement without the instability caused by overnight change. This is where I believe corporatism comes in. Corporatism is a political theory which promotes class collaboration and sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, mining, management, and military, to work together. It defines itself as an alternative to both capitalism and socialism, not seeking to initiate class conflict, nor favoring one sector or class over another. This particular trait of corporatism is why I believe it is a good fit for India. Instead of totally demolishing the caste system, which is probably going to stay around in some form for decades or even centuries after the official abolition, entrenched cultural norms are very hard to get rid of, but rather recognizing the caste system, reorganizing the caste system into something that will benefit instead of harming Indian society, making it so that the different classes become equal, yet retaining some of their less destructive privileges, while at the same time getting rid of segregation between the castes and allowing freedom of social mobility, hopefully allowing more people to get out of poverty and for the Indian economy to be opened up to new innovators and pioneers in different fields. India has hundreds of millions of people who are forcibly unable to develop their skills and ideas. This is a massive untapped potential in the Indian population of new pioneers in different fields, whether that be medicine, space exploration, the sciences, the arts, military, business, and so much more, that will benefit not only India but all of humanity. And yet, the caste system is strangling this amazing potential, which can have new life breathed into it with corporatism, allowing for the potential for the caste harmony and the realization of this unrealized prosperity, allowing people to rise, not based on their position at birth, which is something they cannot control, but rather through merit. While it may be easy to see things through rose-tinted glasses, we must also address the arguments against this plan. The main one being that this plan is as unrealistic as completely abolishing the system, with people often citing that the upper classes won't willingly give up their power and authority over the lower castes. While this is true to an extent, I would argue that this plan is more feasible than totally abolishing the caste system. Further, this plan would not eliminate the prestige or respect the upper caste receive, but rather eliminate their authoritative power and unjust privileges, which should smooth over the transition somewhat. And there are plenty of people in upper classes, such as the Brahmins or the warrior caste, who see the caste system as archaic, mostly among the younger generations. Another critique may come in the form of misunderstanding of the nature of corporatism. Due to its name, many people come under the impression that this political ideology advocates that corporations control society. This, however, is simply not the case, with it instead supporting class cooperation and doesn't support massive corporations taking over the country, that instead being corporatocracy. The last point I would like to address is that, quote, the caste cooperation wouldn't solve any of the major social issues in India, which should be a priority instead. However, I would argue that solving the caste issue will allow new innovators to come into the fold, as I mentioned previously, solving these practical issues. In addition, many of these social issues stem from the caste system, such as extreme poverty or poor infrastructure, stemming from the fact that upper castes don't want to invest in infrastructure in the lower caste areas, and lower castes are not being as motivated to work on their infrastructure, knowing that they won't benefit at all. All in all, I believe corporatism is a viable solution and remedy for the caste system in India. I hope I have convinced you of this fact and have made you better informed on this topic. As always, if you have your own thoughts, like the video and comment them in the comment section down below. I would also appreciate it if you click the link down in the description to my Linktree. It would help me a lot. It would also help me greatly if you checked out the links inside the Linktree. I hope you enjoyed this video and have an amazing rest of your day. God bless.